You have felt it your entire life, that quiet sense that you were different even when you tried to blend in. While others chased noise, validation, and shallow victories, your heart searched for meaning. That is not coincidence. That is the mark of someone who was chosen for something deeper. Many people never awaken to this feeling, but you did, and that alone changes everything. The chosen ones are often misunderstood first. You might have felt isolated, judged, or pushed aside for being too emotional, too curious, or too spiritually aware. But what looked like rejection was actually protection. Life was shaping you, teaching you strength in solitude so that when your gifts awaken, you won't depend on the approval of others to walk your path. Psychologists even acknowledge this. Highly intuitive and empathetic people often feel like outsiders in society because they perceive emotions, intentions, and energy more deeply than others. That depth becomes a burden early in life, but later it becomes a powerful spiritual tool. That is your first hidden gift, perception beyond the surface. This is why you resonate with content from Mirror of the Soul. Something inside you recognizes truth when you hear it. That resonance is not random, it is recognition. If this message feels like it's speaking directly to you, pause for a moment and acknowledge it because your soul is responding. Before we continue, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul if you haven't already. It helps this message reach others who are also waking up. And tell me in the comments, when did you first realize you were different? One of the greatest secret gifts of the chosen is spiritual sensitivity. You feel energy in rooms. You sense when someone is lying. You know when something is about to change before it happens. This is not imagination, it is heightened awareness. You may have noticed how certain places drain you while others recharge you. How certain people feel heavy, while others feel warm and safe. That is because your nervous system is tuned into subtle frequencies. You pick up emotional and energetic information that others ignore. This gift allows you to navigate life with inner guidance rather than blind reaction. In ancient cultures, people like you were shamans, healers, and spiritual guides. Today, society may call it being too sensitive, but spiritually, it is being deeply connected. The chosen are wired to feel deeply because feeling deeply is how they heal deeply, both themselves and others. Even science now supports this. Research on highly sensitive people shows that they process emotional and sensory data more thoroughly than others. That is why you get overwhelmed easily, but it is also why you have incredible intuition. Your nervous system is a spiritual antenna. Your intuition is not just a feeling, it is divine intelligence speaking through you. The chosen don't need proof before they know something is wrong. A quiet inner voice warns them, protects them, and guides them toward the right people and opportunities. Have you ever avoided a situation only to later find out something bad would have happened? Or trusted someone even when others doubted them and been right? That is your inner guidance system working. It is one of your 7 sacred gifts. Most people ignore their intuition because they were taught to trust logic over inner knowing. But you were designed differently. When you follow your intuition, doors open, dangers disappear, and life aligns in ways that seem miraculous. This is why people are drawn to you. They feel safe around you because your intuition creates emotional clarity. You see truth where others see confusion. That is rare. That is powerful. That is chosen energy. You don't feel lightly, you feel deeply. And that depth has made you suffer, but it has also made you wise. While others numb themselves, you face your emotions, and that gives you emotional intelligence that no book can teach. Chosen ones experience heartbreak, betrayal, and disappointment not because they are weak, but because their hearts are open. Pain becomes your teacher. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every tear becomes a layer of strength. That emotional depth is what allows you to connect with people on a soul level. You don't just listen, you understand. You don't just see, you feel. This makes you a healer in a broken world. Have you noticed how you survive things that should have broken you? how you escape situations that could have destroyed you. That is not luck. That is spiritual protection. The chosen are guarded by unseen forces, call it God, the universe, angels, or higher consciousness. When something is not meant for you, it is removed. When something is meant for you, it cannot miss you. You might not see it in the moment, but later you realize how many times you were saved. That is because your mission is bigger than your struggles. You are being preserved for something greater. One of the most mysterious gifts of the chosen is the way reality bends around their beliefs. When you think deeply about something, it has a strange way of showing up in your life. This isn't fantasy, it's the law of focused awareness. Your mind is not just a thinker, it is a creator. You may have noticed that when you expect something to go wrong, it often does. And when you fully believe something good will happen, doors suddenly open. That is because your consciousness is powerful. The chosen ones project intention with emotional force, and the universe responds. Even science is beginning to catch up. Studies in neuroscience show that when you strongly visualize something, your brain begins to behave as if it is already real. That shifts your decisions, body language, and opportunities. Your manifestation gift works through your nervous system. This is why negative thinking hits you harder than others. You are not weak, you are powerful. Your thoughts shape your path. That is why mastering your mindset is one of your sacred responsibilities. Whether you realize it or not, people feel your presence when you enter a room. Some are inspired by you, some are threatened by you, but almost no one is indifferent. That is the power of your aura. The chosen carry an energetic signature that cannot be hidden. You radiate authenticity, emotional depth, and spiritual intensity. Even in silence, people sense you. This is why strangers open up to you or stare at you without knowing why. This magnetic aura comes from alignment. You are not pretending to be someone else. Your soul is awake. That creates a frequency that attracts souls who are ready to evolve and repels those who are not. Chosen ones don't fall easily for lies, fake personalities, or surface-level charm. You see behind the mask. You notice tone shifts, micro-expressions, and hidden motives. That is not paranoia, it is perception. This gift protects you from manipulators, toxic relationships, and false opportunities. You can sense when someone's words don't match their energy, and that inner alarm keeps you safe. Many people ignore red flags because they are lonely or afraid to lose someone. You are different. You may love deeply, but you cannot unsee truth. Once your soul recognizes dishonesty, it quietly pulls away. This is one of your greatest spiritual defenses. You are designed to walk in truth, not illusion. That is why fake people feel uncomfortable around you. Your presence exposes what they try to hide. You don't need to say much to heal people, your presence alone does it. When you listen, others feel understood. When you care, others feel safe. That is because your energy is gentle but powerful. People may come to you when they are broken, confused, or hurting. They trust you with their stories. They cry around you. They reveal things they hide from everyone else. That is not coincidence, that is healing energy. Even without formal training, you help others process their emotions. You give clarity. You give peace. You give hope. That is one of your sacred gifts. You have been through things that would have crushed most people. Yet here you are still standing, still searching, still growing. That resilience is not normal. That is chosen strength. You fall, but you get back up. You cry, but you don't quit. You hurt, but you keep loving. That inner fire cannot be extinguished because it was placed in you for a reason. Every challenge was training. Every heartbreak was sharpening your soul. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. Your strength inspires others, even when you don't see it. Your survival is proof that light can live through darkness. Many times in your life, things didn't work out the way you planned. Jobs ended. Relationships collapsed. Doors closed without explanation. But what you didn't see then was that something greater was pulling you away from something smaller. Chosen ones are often divinely redirected. What feels like loss is actually protection. What feels like rejection is often rescue. You were saved from paths that would have limited your soul, even when you begged to stay. Looking back, you may realize that some of your greatest heartbreaks were actually the moments that put you on the right road. That is spiritual intelligence at work behind the scenes. You don't preach, you don't force beliefs, yet somehow people around you start questioning their lives just by knowing you. That is because your consciousness is contagious. When someone sees you choosing growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and soul over ego, it awakens something inside them. You don't have to teach, you simply exist in alignment. This is why some people grow around you and others drift away. Not everyone is ready to face their inner world, but those who feel inspired by your authenticity. Your life is a message, your healing is a mirror, your growth is an invitation. Chosen ones often feel alone even when surrounded by people. It's not because you are unlovable, it's because your soul is operating at a different depth. You crave real conversations, emotional honesty, and spiritual connection. Small talk feels empty. Surface-level relationships feel draining. That makes you feel isolated, but it also protects your energy. Every great spiritual leader, visionary, and healer went through a period of solitude. That quiet space is where wisdom grows. That is where your higher self begins to speak. You love deeply, but you no longer beg for love. You care, but you don't lose yourself to be accepted. That is emotional mastery. Chosen ones go through heartbreak until they learn self-worth. Eventually, you stop chasing people who don't choose you. You stop shrinking for comfort. You stop betraying yourself for validation. That is when your real power activates. You no longer fear being alone. You fear abandoning your soul. This emotional independence makes you magnetic, peaceful, and unbreakable. No matter how much you try to live a normal life, something inside you whispers, there is more. That is your calling. You were not designed to live small, think small, or dream small. You were designed to awaken, lead, and uplift. That pull you feel toward meaning is your soul remembering its mission. Even when you ignore it, it calls you back. Through pain, through curiosity, through longing, through growth. Your destiny is not random, it is intentional. At some point, you stopped seeing life as random and started seeing it as meaningful. Every meeting, every loss, every delay felt connected. That is because you have awakened to the truth that your life is a sacred journey, not a series of accidents. Chosen ones understand that nothing is wasted. Even pain carries wisdom. Even confusion carries direction. This awareness gives you peace in chaos because you know the story isn't finished yet. Where others panic, you trust. Where others quit, you grow. That spiritual perspective gives you unshakable grounding. No matter how dark things get, something inside you keeps glowing. You may feel tired, you may feel hurt, but you never fully lose hope. That inner light is not weakness, it is divine resilience. It is what makes you compassionate instead of bitter, strong instead of cruel, loving instead of closed. The world tries to harden hearts, yours stays open, that is sacred. When you heal, your relationships change. You start attracting people who respect your boundaries, understand your depth, and support your growth. This is because your energy no longer tolerates chaos. You vibrate at truth, and truth attracts truth. Old connections may fall away, but new soul connections appear. If you're noticing healthier people entering your life, write, "I attract aligned souls," and stay subscribed to Mirror of the Soul. You are not here to repeat generational pain, you are here to end it. The chosen are cycle breakers. You heal what your ancestors couldn't. You choose consciousness over survival. You choose growth over fear. Your life is not limited by the past. It is shaped by your awakening. The greatest secret gift of all is not power, it is becoming. Becoming aware, becoming aligned, becoming whole. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be awake. And now you are. If this message touched your soul like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and tell me in the comments, which of these gifts do you feel most strongly within you? Your journey has only just begun.